Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Fire It Up with CJ show. We've been talking to Bob Hillary, author of Simplify, a Manual for Modern Times. And we have been talking about um, Bob's experience where he lived pretty extensively 4 or 5 years unplugged off the grid. I have one other question that I'm just curious about. You had said that you worked for the man before. What was it that you were doing?
Um, well, I've never been very good at like doing normal jobs because I'm not that way inclined. But yeah, for a while before I was able to actually, um, become a full-time musician, I had to do I did jobs doing like care work, working with autistic people.
Uh,
I used to do like music therapy for with autistic people. I used to just have to do, and I used to work in bars.
mhm.
I used to do crappy jobs just to get by, but now I've spent the last 10 years kind of like I say, I've been extracting myself from the grips of the system that keep me trapped and hemmed in. And now, I have to watch what I say, but I feel freer and as a result, I'm able to offer out um, from a more empathic place because I'm not in so much of a place of survival. Society is tries to keep everyone in survival, so we're competing against each other. So
Hmm.
we can't flipping well help each other. But if we were
Hmm.
actually left alone to make our own living in a more organic way, we would be naturally more empathic and more caring towards other people,
Hmm.
and therefore we would then be able to live in a society that is more empathic and more caring. And this is really, for me, what this is what needs to change on the earth. I mean, my next book, I'm going to start writing another book very soon, uh, called Manifesto for a New Earth, which is going to be about how do we create a better world. Like we right now on planet Earth, we're very clearly, all of us we're seeing all the problems, which is
Hmm.
really full on. We're seeing all the dark stuff, and
Hmm.
that's not easy, but it's like we have to see the dark stuff before in order to make the changes.
Hmm.
It's like, that phrase, like it's darkest before dawn.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now on planet Earth. It's darkest before dawn. And that's why it's tough, man, because we're seeing the darkness of our governments and our corporations and the way everything's done.
Hmm.
And we're seeing it because we've got to change it. And
Hmm.
so this is the next phase on planet Earth, is change, you know? Um,
Can I ask you
yeah.
another question? These are just more logistical things. So if someone actually wants to live off the grid, and is like has a similar sentiment as you, wants to live off the grid, I mean, what do you do for money? I mean, you had to buy your phone somehow. Um, it seems like can you live off all your food from the land? Like, how does one live without making money?
Well, I had my ways, I when I was living off grid, I was still working. I was traveling as a performing musician, so it's not about, you don't just give up money, and I never did give up money, and I very much still use money.
Hmm.
Uh, so it wasn't about giving it up. It was just about, well, really, the title of the book says it. The book's called Simplify, and that's what I did. I simplified, and this book is a guide, is to help people simplify their lives, because when you simplify, you basically cut out all the things that are keeping you locked in to the grind,
But
and
then I have here's the thing I don't get. So, like for example, let's say you have a certain number of. I used to make 500 pounds every week or every month, and that was living my kind of rent, and I had to pay insurance and all those kinds of things. Once you lived off the grid, you bought this piece of land, and you're living off the grid. Um, were your expenses way cut down so that you
my
didn't have to?
expenses were zero. But I'm actually, this is not, I'm actually not saying to people you need to go and live off grid because that's not a choice for most people. But I guess if I had a message, it would be people, it is possible to substantially unhook yourselves from
Mm-hmm.
many parts of our society that that have got us really hooked in,
Mm.
and that's about unhooking from the phones, cutting the addiction. It's about purifying your diet so you're not addicted to expensive, rubbish, chemically laden foods. It's about working, doing what you love to do, and so that money there more naturally comes from what you love doing rather than living where you just have to, you're doing what you hate and then you just are unhappy. And this whole book is just to like how to change your whole lifestyle so that you are
Mm.
living more simply. uh, and when you make these changes, you automatically have, because you're cutting ties with those things that keep you hooked into the system. Those things, when you make these changes, those things no longer drain you financially. So
Yeah.
right, how I'm living right now, I'm integrating my off-grid life back into my normal life. I'm living back in society, but I'm still growing my own food in my garden, and I've got solar panels on my roof, and I don't use gas or oil. I use a wood burner to heat the house, and um, I've made a lot of changes,
Mm.
and I see a lot of people also starting to do these same things,
Mm. Yeah, I
and
think, I mean, yeah,
that's
yeah,
part of
it's,
the
it,
make
to
that's
me, it
part of the
seems like,
making the changes.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
I would say that to me, what I resonate with is that there is transformation that's happening. We've relied far heavily on societal systems to keep us afloat, and we're probably addicted to the government taking care of us for,
yeah,
like banks being watching our back and feeling secure with that. Like there's all these systems that we rely upon and have kept us secure in the past, but those are very illusionary, and I don't think they are even providing those main benefits anymore. And so I think just trying to figure out how we become more independent and in some ways interdependent, like you said, that it's not just about living on your own and like screw everyone else. It's like there's an empathy and collaboration that happens when we have our own dominion, which is what we most of us don't have right now. So I can see that. I can feel the truth of what you're saying, that if we can kind of pull ourselves away from these systems and our high reliance on these systems, whether they're tech, government, financial, whatever, and can move to a place where we can just independently on our own judge whether these systems are serving us or not, and consciously choose back to elect to go in or out of them, which is what it sounds like you're doing. Um, yeah, well, thank you. So we've been talking to Bob Hillary, author of Simplify, a manual for modern times. Thank you so much for your time.
no worries. Can I just say a last thing?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
I do want to leave people with, I don't want to leave people with the feeling like they have to move off grid in order to survive and get through these times. I actually just want to back up what CJ just said. It really, I think the way we can get through these times well is by people power, and I see a lot of people coming together right now, forming community. People are starting to, create food growing projects everywhere. It's bringing people together. So, you don't need to move off grid. It's just about, things are changing. It's like, let's hang out with people who feel the same, and
Hmm.
let's make the need for governments and all this stuff obsolete. I just think, this is such an exciting time, and my my book is really a book to well, I've banged on about it enough, but it's a book to help people navigate these times.
Yeah.
And can I
Yeah.
can I can I point people in the direction of
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead.
so if anyone is resonating with what's being talked about here, and you fancy a copy, it's on my website, as is all my music, which is bobhillary.com. I'm offering a free song from my website when you visit it, and the book is there on the first page. And I've also it's also available as an audio book, which is quite fun, and it's really cheap. I've spoken it all to microphone. So yeah, please check it out, if you feel like you're resonating with what's being spoken about. And thank you for listening.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show. I would love your support in any way by giving me comments below, or to subscribe to the show, or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.